and the oldest entry is age 35. We can see the first crew coming around the corner now.
Yep, and as we called it, coming through Weld, coming around the bend right now is bow 2, Adrian Ventnor. We'll be recalling these crews in front of the boathouse to coordinate with the people that are watching online. And here we have our first rower up the course of Saturday's Head of the Charles. Bow number 2, Adrian Ventnor from Riverside Boat Club. It's got about 800 meters to go, 10 strokes to the bridge, and then he goes on automatic all the way to the finish line.
Interesting enough, this is actually only his second season rowing. He's a college swimmer from Duke and a South African national.
And here's bow number 1, Zach Petronic from Pittsburgh.
And that is him in the red shell approaching the bridge right now.
And now we've got a decent gap back to the next cruise.
It does look like a couple of the crews are bunched up coming around the corner. And again, we will identify them as they come around the corner and approach the boathouse.
So right now, those two crews that came by, Ventnor had obviously passed bow number 1. He's got a 30-second lead going into the last 700 meters. So if we kind of project back into the race, the question is anybody in the pack fast? Because right now it's looking like Ventnor is going for the win.
5 is overtaking 4.
We've got bow 5 overtaking bow number 4 coming onto the screen now. Bow number 5 is Ryan Teofilo. Go Jags. Bow number 4 is a Boston-based rower, Michael Dostel, who's affiliated with Hydro Rowing. So if you're doing the internet workouts, you're probably being coached by Michael.
Bow number 6, Riverside.
Coming onto the screen right now is bow number 6 from Boston's Riverside Boat Club, Graham Calloway. Graham is just happy to be here. He hopes that if he keeps trying hard and believing in himself, he'll be as fast as his fiancée, Lauren Ayers. That is very, very well spoken.
7 in front of downtown.
Bow number 7 from Philadelphia's Undine Boat Club, Jerry Harrison. Jerry's a recent college grad. He's a Dad Vail gold medalist in the single sculler, and he's also medaled at U.S. Rowing Summer Club Nationals. Coming closer to the Cambridge Boat Club is bow number 3, Robert Shetlick, and on the Boston side is Mihalo Melowani, this is his 16th straight year at the head, including the 4702 COVID year remote event. And the red hull is Jack Higgins from Occoquan outside of D.C., Fairfax Station. He's a Temple grad out of Philly. And then bow number 13, also from Riverside, Nick Sweet, who's a Michigan grad and coaches at Ann Arbor. Which one's this one? 12. Now we've got bow number 12, Henry Vorasmarty, who is a Case Western grad, also from Ann Arbor.
Neck and neck. We got 9 close to us and 16 on the Boston side.
On the Cambridge side, we've got bow number 9, William Meeker, and on the Boston side, 16 from Golden State Rowing in Oakland, Will Messenger. Will is currently a sophomore at Brandeis and a captain of the Brandeis team, but he's racing for what's probably his high school club. Now we've got a decent gap. Yeah, so the club single is an interesting one. Back in the day, it also used to include some very, very fast juniors, but now the junior sculling has gotten so big it's its own event. But the club single is sort of the transition event from college rowing into masters rowing. And the Masters events start at 30 plus, so you've got a lot of 20-somethings in this group. And it's also kind of interesting because they're having to figure it out on their own. It's not like you've got a big coaching staff and you're traveling as a team. So these guys are really sort of, in general, they're establishing themselves as single scullers. And every now and then we'll see a really, really fast one come here. The other thing about the club event is once you win it, you can't do it again. You have to move up to the champ single, or if you're old enough, into the Masters single. Now we've got a group of about 7 scullers coming at the same time, so we'll try to keep all these straight. And coming onto the field right now is bow number 11. Bow number 11 from Cleveland, CWRE, Michael Keasley.
21 overtaking Riverside, 18.
21 overtaking Riverside, bow number 18. So Queen City Barge Club, Sean Jackson having a good row. It's Riverside's Karamagi Abraham. And this is what you see, this is what you look for at the Eliot is some dog fighting going around the bridge. Now we've got Black Adam Nasta. He's an Ithaca grad. And in the orange boat, bow number 20, Clarkson, Will Dignam. This is his first head of the Charles. And now we've got bow number 14, Will Drescher, VCU crew alumni, ACRA doubles champ. And in the white hull, bow number 23, Chris Crawley is a Marist. Oh, so 23? Okay, sorry, bow number 23, Connor Sawyers from Conshohocken.
Use those bios, use this order. That's off by 1. She never updated the bio.
Okay. Okay, now we've got bow number 25 from Oakneck in Bayville, New York, Ethan Seidner. And now we've got bow number 17 from Manhasset. It's a Manhasset High School alum, Alex Horn from Port Washington, New York.
26 with the chevron oars.
And with the chevron oars, bow number 26. Well, that's Familiar Blades. That's from Undine Barge Club from Philadelphia, Sean Neal.
So it looks like the clubs are right, but the names are wrong.
Yep.
Now we got 3 across here.
Okay, and now we've had some crews on the outside yielding to the crew on the inside. Bow number 31 from Occoquan, Victor Corja. Bow number 28 from Three Rivers, Dylan Lucas. Bow number 24 from Newport Seabase, Eric Burt. Here's bow 27, John Simpson Saunders from Marietta, part of Greg Myers' Armada, former CBC coach. And here come another bunch of 4 all at the same time. On the CBC side, on the outside is, sorry, and apologies, the names got messed up and we've corrected them now. Bow number 19, Will Dingham from Methuen. In the yellow boat, bow number 32, having a good row. Parker Grobe from Newark, Delaware. Red Hull 29. Hagen Osman from SMU in Dallas. And in the High Viz Uni, bow number 22, Connor Sawyers from New York. And if people were following along in their programs, apologies. We've gotten an updated set of bow numbers and names, so there might have been one off for the first part of the race. It's some of the things that happened on the first race of the day. But we are good to go now. Okay, another bunch of 6 coming. I'll explain what that means when we get a break. Okay. Okay, call them right in front for me, please. So this is bow number 39. So this is Karen Edwards from Los Gatos. Bow 34, 39 having a good row. 34, Peter Fusik from Rhinecliff, New York. And then in the blue is Spencer Reynolds from Milwaukee. On the inside, 37, Brad Wirtz from Narragansett. And then in the red uni from University of Calgary, John Perry. Okay, in the red boat. 35. Okay, in the red hull from Dallas Rowing Club, Dylan Chan. Yellow hull, bow number 30, Zane Wang from Shanghai, Dian Shanhu. That, I think he wins the award so far for distance traveled today. And in blue, from Don Rowing Club in California, no short trek either, is Jared Thompson.
Interesting, he lists himself as going from Shanghai, but his country code is Great Britain. Unless that's another misprint.
Well, it still wins the travel award.
Yeah. Yeah, so those of you watching at home or those here for the first time, the Head of the Charles is truly an international event. We have people from all over the world. I would say Shanghai is probably the farthest I've seen to date, but will not be our last international rower of the day, that's for sure.
Okay, and I think rounding out the field is David Foster from the Atlanta Rowing Club. So let's take a look at the results. So the way it works is you row the course. The results are posted unofficially, but then the officials on the course get to weigh in. And there are an awful lot of buoys on this course, so the chances of missing one, are not insignificant. Particularly if you're trying to row a tight line. We have one more rower coming that should finish out the event. The second thing that can happen is, so if miss one buoy, it's 5 seconds. Miss a second and a third buoy, it's 10 seconds per buoy. And sometimes people will get into a position where they'll miss 3 or 4. So steering really matters on this course. And we'll pause on the color for a second while the racer comes by.
This is bow number 38, our neighbor downriver at Riverside, Spencer Reynolds. He says his shell is named the King Crab, and that's all you need to know. 2-time Vail medalist with the men's 4 from Lafayette College.
So the second thing about these sculling races is that they're all blind boats. And if a boat is overtaking another boat, it's very difficult for the regatta to seed these races because speeds change a lot from year to year, and you can have somebody come into the regatta that wasn't there the year before who's really fast. So the top of the race is usually a function of prior year finish, and then beyond that, everybody does their best. So when you get onto these, when you're on the straightaway, it's not such a big deal. But when you get onto these turns, if you're overtaking another crew, the crew that's being passed is required to yield. Failure to yield gets you an interference penalty. Pressing your right to pass too aggressively gets you an interference penalty. So the officials on the course are watching for buoy violations, and they're watching for people being inconsiderate of other competitors. Where it gets really tricky is on these bends. So say you're in, say there are 4 or 5 boats coming onto the turn at the same time, and there's the boat at the back is the fastest. The boat next to them will start to move out. The boat next to the second boat will start to move out. When you start getting to the third or the fourth or the fifth boats, the ability of that whole group of scullers to coordinate the yield is just incredibly challenging. So you can see, in particular at the Eliot Bridge, which is why all of you guys are up there, you can see some really interesting dogfighting going on between crews as they try to maneuver this reverse-esque curve coming around CBC and then heading towards the Windsor Boathouse.
All right, folks, so we have event number 10, the Men's Masters Senior Masters Singles, 30-40 plus. It started at 7:58, and we see the first boats approaching CBC now. This combined event is men's masters age 30 plus and senior master age 40 plus in singles. The field is led by Cody Lowry of Undine, who finished third in the combined event last year. And I can hear a Cody fan from the bridge. Here we have out in front bow number 2. So that is Brian Watach from Union. And he is leading ahead of Cody.
So Brian Weddick has passed Cody. I know this race pretty well because I was in it last year, and I was right between these guys. They are really hauling it right now.
Approaching the bridge right now, bow number 3, Richard Connell.
A preview of coming attractions. Those are not the guys in first place at Weld. So there is some action going on in the back of the pack right now.
And we have Brian McEwen leading David Ringham of Maritime and Red Cedar, respectively. And they appear to be the leading pack. There's a fair amount of separation here between them and the next grouping that's now coming around the corner.
So just to go back to the race results real quick from the prior race, the unofficial winner was bow number 5, Ryan Teofilo, rowing unaffiliated in a time of 17:32. He was followed by Adrian Ventnor from Riverside, and then bow number 39, Kieran Edwards. So those were your first 3 from the club singles.
So out in front of us right now is KTC's Jamie Coven, bow number 7, who has overtaken bow number 6, Eric Grasso of Three Rivers, coming up from Pittsburgh. And that is in the yellow hull. And approaching CBC now is bow number 8 in the white hull dark T-shirt, David
Deschen.
David Deschen. He started rowing in his 30s, and he says he loves it. So welcome to our favorite course.
And he's heading for the bridge. Yeah, we just had some interesting action on both ends of the bridge, both ends of the turn. Dave Deschen spotted it and got out of the way, and then some of the warming up crews are supposed to stay inside those white buoys, slid close to those orange ones, and that could have been a real tangle. Here's bow number 9, Doug Kelly from Bellows Falls, Vermont. Bow number 10, Shane Madden from Undine. Undine well represented this year. Bow number 11, Jeff Toto from Union Boat Club. And bow number 13, Lee Greathouse from Union.
And then we have bow number 12. It's very easy to recognize those Riverside unis. The horizontal blue and white stripes, that is Joseph Hanna.
Yeah, go Stripes.
What if that 8 lost their skag or something? They were sliding all around the corner. And they were struggling to...
So we've had our first finisher, Brian Weddick, post a time of 18:26. He was in 3rd place at CBC.
Crossing under the bridge right now, bow number 16, PJ Gupta, and bow number 14, Florian Carl from Great River, coming up from Connecticut. And then we have another short gap here. We have one more hull coming around the corner. In the dark hull, dark T-shirt, that's bow number 17 approaching us now, Zachary DePace from Holyoke Rose. That is Holyoke, Massachusetts, local team coming from Western Mass.
So, okay, we got our crew coming through. Okay. So through Weld, if you're listening on the internet, you can probably see these results. And in particular, if you're a Trinity grad or part of Long Beach or the Graves family, brother Tom Graves was posting a really fast time. He was in first place by 6 seconds at Weld. He's bound number 25 coming up soon. So we'll see how that holds up through CBC. And now we've got bow.
18. We have bow number 18 in front of us right now. That's John Winter.
Yep, former lightweight national teamer, GMS guy.
Followed by bow number 19, a Charles River favorite, Igor Belakovsky from Riverside.
Yeah, and there's Tom coming up on Igor, and Igor knows what he's got on his tail.
Yes.
Go Tom.
I myself is a Trinity grad, so go Tom, go. Let's go Bantams.
Yeah, Tom's having a great race. Igor's just coming off of COVID, so he really got a full ticket today.
Now we have bow number 20 approaching us now, Patrick Rorden, Maritime Rowing.
Yep. And bow 24, Eric Breinland from Green Mountain.
Eric Lev.
24, Eric Lev from Cambridge Boat Club. My apologies. Eric Lev from the CBC Rowing Committee. Pretty much a regular down here every day at 6 o'clock.
23.
Bow 23, Eric Breinland from Green Mountain.
Followed by Daniel Ellis from Rose City from Oregon. And then bow number 22, Maritime Rowing Club, Randy Wilhelm. I imagine the time zone difference from Oregon has got to be challenging.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. We've had people starting to show up here on obviously there was racing on Thursday, but Wednesday was a pretty busy day. There were crews here on Tuesday. There were crews here on Monday. Some people started to show up on Sunday, and it's tough for this crowd because this crowd is pretty much working full time.
We have bow on stern competition coming around the corner right now. In the lead is bow number 31 in the yellow hull, and behind them, striped uni, bow number 29. So in the lead, that is California Yacht Club, Mark Schaefer, who has overtaken Riverside's Tom Sampf.
So the thing about the 30 and 40 compared to the clubs is, as I mentioned before, the clubs are, sort of that transition event out of college. In the 30s and the 40s, you're pretty much into full life. So, a master's rowing is what tends to be characterized by things like jobs, significant others, small children, mortgages. So fitting in the training is quite challenging, and you have a lot of ex-national teamers in this event. So people that rode at very competitive levels in their 20s, and this is their bridge event into staying involved with the sport the rest of their life.
And coming across us right now is Tom Sweeney, bow number 30 from San Francisco. And this next pack coming up to us now on the Cambridge side, bow number 26, Mwanga William from Uganda. Another international rower joining us here in Boston. And he is currently being overtaken on the Boston side by bow number 32. Bow number 32 is Colin Phillips, recreational rower. And tailing that pack there in the red hat, red blades, bow number 34. Bow number 34, Stephen Titus from Potomac, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so another challenge you get into in these kinds of races for the people that travel is you're usually rowing in a borrowed boat. And if you're really, really lucky, you get to borrow a boat that's exactly like the one you have back home. But then the challenge is, if not, that you've got to get used to totally new equipment, and you've got about a day or three to do it.
And crossing us right now is bow number 33, Matt Beaton from Mossy Oak. That is Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. They row on Lake Quinsigamond in Worcester.
Oh. Wow. No, I've got Tom Graves just dropped a fast one.
And
I'll come
coming across now,
I'll come
bow
back
20,
I'll come back to that in a second.
Bow 27 from Hamburg, Alexander Bernhardt. Hansa Hamburg. Again, welcome to Boston. We love to see our international competitors here. And in front of us now, bow number 37, Riverside Boat Club's Niles Kuronen. He's been a member of Riverside for about 20 years. And we have another competitive pack here, so we'll have to get back to the Graves time shortly.
Yeah, that's just a teaser. That's just a teaser for the Graves family. They probably know the result. Okay, and here's bow number 43, Luke Wilhelm. Familiar name to Boston, Sacred Heart University. And bow 35, Sasha Korda. And then in all white, bow number 28, Neil Fleischem from Sagamore. And here's bow number 40, Michael Desi from DBC, Detroit Boat Club, one of the oldest clubs in the country. And in the yellow boat, the M. Pocker, Luis Rubio Tapia from SCRC, San Diego Rowing Club. Okay. And here's bow number 41, Brent Basso from Coventry Lake. So let me just extend personal congratulations to Tom Graves. He just dropped a course record in 18:15. And it's personally meaningful to me because the old course record was mine. So he just knocked me off by 4 seconds. And so that was an outstanding race by Tom in the 40 plus single. And here's bow number 42, Michael Maloney from Flower City. I mean, they say records are made to be broken, right? But so this race is two races. There's the 40 plus, and right now Tom's sitting on top of everything as a 40-year-old. In second place in the 30 plus right now is Brendan McEwen, and we'll see if somebody else comes up in the back of the pack. Here's bow number 44, William Simonson from Commencement Bay in Washington, Tacoma, Washington, followed by bow number 38, Scott Stewart, Nashakwitska in Chilmark. And here's bow 46, Julio Chances from Parana Rowing Club in Argentina. Bow number 45 in the white hull is, we already called that one. Yep. And bow number 36 from Hammersmith in the UK, Clark Barry, Fulham Reach Boat Club. Okay. So not that I'm assessing, but I don't feel bad about having my course record broken by an Olympian.
No, that's not something to feel too bad about.
And I think for everybody on the bridge, the thing that's a good sign for the rest of the day is when you start seeing course records going in the first events, that's suggestive that there are going to be some smoking fast times the rest of the day.
You won the Temple Cup in college, too.
Oh, yeah. They won at Henley, yeah. Was he the one that stood up in the boat, or was it the other girl, the other one?
It's the two brothers.
That they both stood up in the boat.
Tom and Peter.
There's some races that you're allowed to stand up in the boat.
I'm not sure that's one of them. 51-49.
Okay, bow number 51.
Oh, last in the pack, Timothy Whitney.
Tim Whitney, unaffiliated out of Brattleboro, doing a little bit of passing.
Overtaking Matthew Love from Maritime Rowing Club in the high-vis hat right in front of us now. And then they have both overtaken bow number 50 in the black hull.
Yeah, that's Michael Gross from Huntersville, North Carolina.
And they are being trailed by bow number 48.
And that is Matthew Love from Maritime.
Seth Fagans.
Sorry, whoops. Yep, that was 49. Seth Fagans from Quinsigamon. about 45 minutes away, home of the Eastern Sprints in Shrewsbury.
Yes, all the local rowers here know that course very, very well. Maybe too well. I hate some of those lines of Quinsigamond so much.
Yeah, so we were talking conditions. We were talking about the wind. That obviously helps in terms of dropping fast times. The other thing that is good this year is the flow, because sometimes the week prior to the regatta we'll have a monsoon, and the amount of river coming down the course, I think that's the right choice of words, can add 40 seconds to your time if it's really cranking. But right now the flow up at the Waltham Dam is sort of in line with typical conditions. So again, it's not slowing you down, but you can get days where you get a high flow and a headwind, and the race can be a minute and a half longer for guys like this than it would be on a day like today. And I can think of about 51 people in this event that are happy that we've got these conditions today.
Yes, and I would say candidly, I would not be surprised to see if we have several other records broken or very close to broken today with these conditions. Approaching the Cambridge Boat Club boathouse now is bow number 47. Another Quinsigamond rower, Peter Mulcahy. He's from Shrewsbury, started rowing at the Shrewsbury High School, and rowed for Harvard. He first rowed the head of the Charles in 2001. I think that is the end of this event. If we have any more rowers come around the corner, of course we will announce them. But the next event is the women's club single. Women's competitors, club singles, aging in age range from 18 to 37. Bow number 1, Mary